I'm Margaret in Windsor, and I was kidnapped in 41 and brought to Moulton, Alabama. I say this because to give a little reference to what's going on, or you wouldn't understand it. My father's King Edward VIII, the real King Edward VIII, not the impostor that married Wallace Warfield Simpson. Now, history has been so the lies and defamation of character, ruined reputation of my father and everything. Like I say, he was married to Claudia Ruth O'Keeffe, American teacher, sister to artist Georgia O'Keeffe. A beautiful man. I was born in 1939, kidnapped in 41 by his own brother, George the Sixth, who's illegal, and that makes him and Elizabeth, the whole lineage, illegal. This is my Aunt Georgia O'Keeffe, the artist, and I wanted to show this because I did a book that was unpublished because of what was done to me, and I had a letter from the FBI again. Uh, I say that again because I had a letter in June the 23rd of 79, ongoing investigation, national security involved. And I had written about, I was writing about mind control murders done in patterns, people being programmed to shoot, or you can take a 18-wheeler and drive it down and kill with it if you're programmed. It doesn't matter what method, it doesn't have to be a rifle. Like they're trying to take the guns away with, okay, like that's supposed to solve it. It solves it when you tell the mechanism used in all this. And that's, let me remind you, during the Wayne Williams, just before he was arrested, back in, I guess he was arrested in about 1980 when all this went down. They almost killed me over and over, but really then. But Maynard Jackson was the mayor, and Lee Brown was the police commissioner. He went on to be mayor of Houston several times, and police commissioner of Houston, and also he was, I said police commissioner, mayor also, but he became drug czar under the Clintons. So, anyway, I want to go back to that because both of them, Lee Brown, and this was back just before Wayne Williams was arrested for all those murders. And the police, Lee Brown and Jackson, Mayor Jackson, Maynard Jackson, went on ABC morning show and said that Wayne didn't commit the crimes, it was the mechanism used. Well, that's mind control. They just didn't explain it, let it go at that, and Wayne is in prison now. He was arrested and he's in prison. But what I wanted to get to is I've been run using an illness I have. I'm allergic to chemicals, and if I'm around toxic fumes in a closed in area, especially, then I get really, really sick. It affects me in different ways. My immune system shuts down, attacks itself, and right at the moment, I stay and stay, and the damage done from the inflammation it causes is enough to kill me. And I'm where I can't walk anymore or get around. So I can't run out to the Appalachian Trail and try to get away from it out in the forest. Well, they get me out there too. And yes, this is all true. And yes, I'm for real. Somebody on Facebook came back. Somebody I didn't know, it wasn't a friend. I think he just, whoever it was, is this woman for real? Well, yeah. So why has this all been allowed to happen to me, okay? Uh, but anyway, Larry Flint was shot and the person programmed. Now then, I want to get to what I was going to say today because I've put all this up uh, on videos and on Facebook and the social media. And as of today, I'm staying here at one of Sonny Shaw's. I put this up yesterday, and all that happens is people that break the law against me, like the Dempseys, where they dropped me off after I was kidnapped, that she had killed her twins, Peggy and Carl. They were born out of wedlock. Family lived in a pigsty. They were awful. But anyway, they want the ones that's left, the sister that's living, and I'm sure the offsprings there want nothing more than to shut me up. I didn't commit the crime. The one sister to Lina, the mother of the twins, they covered up the murders. Um, she wants it shut up. It's reputations involved. And this is all the people that this is a couple of years ago, and all the people that came to an opening of his, calling him a great entrepreneur and all that, they've gotten really wealthy off of it, and they own everything around here. It's the property really it sits on. But anyway, I don't know what else they own out in Charlottesville. Charlotte, North Carolina. Anyway, they've gotten wealthy, him and the Patels. It's not just them, it's when I've tried to leave that I might be there a couple of days and then suddenly the fumes and the toxic, or they come in, and remodeling's a real good one. And yes, this happens. It's done at such a high scale. Well, I am who I am, so stop and think about it. So I have stayed here, and I came here a couple of years ago, I guess now, about this time. And I'm trying to think what they started doing then. They started remodeling, and it was becoming winter, and it was awful. They were putting it right next to my door, and uh, piling stuff up and remodeling, and I got so sick I had to leave. I mean, I get sick, okay? It's only when I'm enclosed and forced, and that's what's happened, to inhale it. So then I'm run here, there, and yes, seriously. And I quoted retired state trooper Carl Barton, a few years back, who his wife said to me, "This is how we run you, by using chemicals." Well, they made my word no good. It's not that people don't believe it. And again, I'll quote Agent Noe, FBI agent retired, when I was in Grottoes, Virginia. And by the way, I had Larry Flint's car that he'd leased behind their home and store while I worked, and wiped windshields and cleaned them and put gas in and air in the tires, and worked in the convenience store to make a living. And my word's no good. My goodness, that's what they've done to me. But I'm so sick right at the moment. I'm just going to go back to here where I'm at now. And I've put this up on a couple of tapes before. And I guess, I don't know. Anyway, nothing's changed over the years. Right at the moment, I'm so sick at my age and everything. What Carl Barton's wife said is, "Don't fall, don't trip." This is back in '09. I remember exactly when it was. She said, so that they put you in a nursing home, because then they do what they want to me. They're told to. If people's jobs are threatened, or their children are threatened, or they've broken the law, and the law comes in and tells them to do something and they can get away with it, they do it. Believe me, over and over. And I'm going to quote real quick Corporate Suites. And this is on Lansford, at Lakeside Shopping Center, Roanoke, where the woman came in, and she'd given up, she said, her job at the bank. She'd ready to retire, but she'd become on the board. And I had stayed there before, and I keep it's owned by a Jew, by the way. He owns a bunch of them. He's now become very wealthy. Uh, he owns extended stays and corporate suites, and very wealthy he's done. Well, I'm there at the address I told you, and the new woman, after I'd been there about maybe a month, she said to me, well, she brought me a letter and even signed it, and I put it up on all this with the information. And then um, Andrea Queen, who was suddenly come in here and lives on Mountain Pass, got a beautiful home provided. She took down my videos and everything. The videos are still up, but I still haven't gotten access back to them. I'm putting these up, obviously. Now, and it was messed up. But I put all of it up on the videos, and they're there. I mean, it's a lot. And obviously, not anybody really. There's a few people on Facebook, some friends, that took notice, but other than that, I don't think there has been anyone. It's kind of shocking. I couldn't make the whole thing up, first of all. But back to the lady, I've forgotten her name, down McKay or something. I put the letter up on YouTube, and she just simply sent me the letter and said, "You have to get out." Um, and she said she wouldn't accept my rent money, which I'd never been behind. I've always paid rent on the day and time it was due. She said, "I just won't take it." And I said, "Well, what if I come up there and stand and offer it to you?" She says, "I'll call the cops and have you arrested for trespassing." Well, they would. Believe me, they would. So, she also showed me on her desk, she turned the computer around and said, showed me her daughter, which back then, this is in 2012, I believe. Was it 20? No, 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 wait, it might have been 13, might have been 14. Yeah, okay, I stayed there back then, but this is the last time in 2014, and I believe it was March and into April. And she said, she put the note on the letter on the door and said she wouldn't accept my rent. And, but she turned the computer around that day in her office and said, "This is my daughter," and she was in her homecoming and all that, finishing high school. She says, "And I'm not going to let her end up like Alexis Murphy." Alexis Murphy was from Livingston, Virginia, and she's one of the mind control murders that happened. So I didn't kill anybody. I'm just the messenger that told it. And this was what was going on when I did the book, and program shootings and butcher knife or whatever. The method is mind control. All right. So I'm run from place to place, and I'm sitting here now, so sick. I mean, they were told to get me out, and believe me, they come in and use the chemicals. They get to your air conditioning. They can come in and soak your bed with anything they want to. Is what they've all done in the past. There's any kind of methods when it's fumes and toxic, and the police don't work for you, and I can't get an attorney. So where do you go? You run. So where I go, I'm gonna have to get out here today. I've been up since about 2 o'clock because of the fumes in here, and I'm so dizzy. It takes out and makes me so dizzy I can't stand it, and I'm like ready, sick all over. All right, I would be if I tried to stay here. My rent's paid, by the way, and this has happened so often. I put this up. I'd pay rent and have to leave. Pay a month and stay a few days, or pay a week and stay a couple of days, and I'm run with fumes. They're so bad. So I've got to leave today, and I put this up because it hasn't done me that much good to put it up. There's some people on Facebook who have been very nice, but basically, I'm sitting here where I was some years ago, only I'm older and I can't move now hardly. And until I could get it into court, or then it's there's no need, I'll die. And a friend of mine said that something about if he died, no one would come to his funeral. I thought, well, and I'm serious, they would spit on my grave. So that's about it. I've got to how am I going to get out of here? I've paid rent. I'm limited on funds. So where do I go? I've tried to leave and been run back. I can't run anymore. And the people in Roanoke, where are the civil rights, the NAACP? They've never touched it. It's okay. And they say their lives matter. Mine didn't matter to anybody other than how much they could get out of me and my family and country.